Right, today we've got another tool in the ToolPRO range. This is the Brushless Hammer Drill. It is a kit. By that it has a drill, 2 batteries and a charger. It's not in a fancy case or anything, but with a manual. There's the unit with battery on. A driver bit, which probably throw that straight in the bin. A belt clip. Charger, I'm guessing another battery. Is that the cutest little charger you've ever seen? I don't think I've ever seen a tool charger that small. Clips on, nice and compact. That's not going to be a fast charger though. That charger, I think you're looking at 3 hours. Or up to 5 hours if you're charging a 4 amp hour. So she ain't quick. But pretty simple, not a lot to go wrong with that. So let's have a look at the tool. So you've got your classic sort of design of a drill these days. PA6 plastic, nylon, with glass fibre, probably 30%, judging by the way it feels and the angle grinder review, which we've already done. This is a nice feature on a cheap tool. It's a metal chuck. A lot of hammer drills, a lot of drills in general don't come with metal chucks. It's usually only the high-end version of each brand uses the metal chucks. I mean, I've got Makita tools that don't have metal chucks. I've got a Bosch one that doesn't have a metal chuck. So yeah, nice to see a metal chuck on a cheap tool. This bit here though, that may look metal on the camera, is indeed plastic. Brushless, like I say. Tool indicator, battery indicator here. Only stays on while you got your finger on the trigger, which is a bit annoying. So green fully charged, orange you're about halfway, red you're down to your last sort of 25%. The light on the tool stays on without your finger on the trigger. It's a pity they didn't make that stay on as well. No biggie, but seems odd having to push the trigger all the time. In the hand, feels quite nice. It's not too bulky, it's not too heavy for a hammer drill. Doesn't come with a side handle, but you probably won't need it with the capacity of this particular drill. Now the 2 batteries that come with it are both 1.5 amp hour, which keeps the tool nice and light. If you want to do some concrete drilling with it, which is why you buy a hammer drill, you might want to use the 4 amp hour batteries that ToolPRO put out. Might give you a bit more grunt. So a hammer drill, also known as a combi drill, has 3 basic functions. You've got drilling, you've got screwing or fastening, and then you've got hammer drilling. Why there's an intermediate click between each one of those, I don't know. And then on the front you've got your torque settings all the way up to 21. So that is for when you're on the fastening mode. That helps prevent you putting screws too deep into timber or drywall or whatever you happen to be doing. It's a 2-speed gearbox. First speed is up to 400 RPM, second speed is 1500 RPM. I don't know what the hammering capacity, hammer beats per minute are, because it's not written on the side of the tool. It might be in the manual, I'll have a look later perhaps. It's a 13mm drill, half-inch 13mm, so that's good, not a 10mm one. It's got your forward reverse, just like any other drill, and the lock in the middle. Put it in the middle, you can't pull the trigger. It's good, solid detents on that. Feels pretty good. For a tool of this value, it seems pretty good so far. Looks a well built tool from the outside, but we'll put it through a few tests. I'll drill some holes, fasten some screws, most importantly do some concrete drilling. That's when these, you know, that's the reason you buy this over a standard drill driver. We'll see if it's any good in the concrete. and then we'll put it up against some other drills maybe in a future video. So according to the manual, you can drill up to 10mm holes in steel, 35 in wood, and 13 in masonry. But I don't have all those size drills, but I've got a 10mm drill bit here. I will drill through 5mm steel. Oop, didn't put it in yet. I have a few different drills. I'm going to try through 2-inch of timber here, 2-inch of pine. Got a 19mm auger bit, a 25mm 1-inch speed bore bit, and a 40mm spade bit, 5mm more than the recommended specs. And then concrete wise, I don't have a 13mm concrete bit, but I've got an 11 and a 16. So I'll try the 11. If it copes alright with that, we'll ramp it up to the 16, see if she'll do okay with that. So that is going to be my test arena for drilling, and then I'll screw some screws in after that. Second gear, 10mm drill bit, 5mm mild steel. Pretty good. Cut out a couple of times at the end there, but that's because you're catching on the swarf as you're going through the other side there. It's a fairly normal thing for drills to do. Wow, not enough power for the speed bore bit. Yeah, it did fine with the auger bit. So you can drill a 40mm hole if you have to. So, pays to have it in the lower gear for that style bit, but all the other ones it can do in full gear. Gear number 2. Try this auger bit one more time. Slow gear. It's all good. Yeah, so low speed for some of those bigger drill bits, which is of course what you would normally do, but I always like to try them on the high speed first to see if they can hack it, and to me that did really well. Slightly warm. Now onto the concrete, the real test. 11mm masonry bit, second gear, fully charged 1.5 amp hour battery. Let's go. 100mm deep, 4 inches, and did that perfectly fine. Very acceptable. And now 16mm bit. So this is pushing it past its specifications, but that's the sort of thing I like to do. See if a tool, usually tools can do more than what they say, so let's give it a whirl. 16mm. So as you can see, she does it. She's not struggling too much. I mean, it's taking a little bit longer, of course, than the 11mm, but she's doing the job. It's gotten warmish, not too bad, not dangerously hot or anything. We'll just put it in low gear, see how she does. Don't think it'll have enough to, well, it'll take a lot longer. Back to second gear. Yeah, she's going through that pretty good. So I've now got the drill set on the screw picture here for driving in screws. Now I'm going to start off driving in just this 10 gauge. You shouldn't have any problems with 8 and 10 gauge screws on this, but I often use these sort of screws now, these 14 gauge batten screws, so we'll see how these do in a minute. I'm going to start this on the lowest torque setting, number 1, and we'll just drive them and see how far I've got to crank it up before it drives in. Right, let's crank it up to 6, sorry, 9. Well, that's pretty close to perfect there. Alright, it's on 21 now. 21, trying to get it undone. Won't do it. To put it back on to drill. Let's drive one in again at 21. Took it out, no problem. Oh, no, sorry, we're still on drill, aren't we? To be fair, that's how I would normally use a drill to put in screws. I hardly ever use the screw setting, but I usually use an impact driver, so I wouldn't worry. So let's put it back on the screw setting. Let's drive another screw in here on the highest setting, 21. Can't even do it. Now, I don't know if I mentioned before, one-handed chuck, which is always good. So I can't see this driving these at all. I'll even give it a sporting chance, and I'll go in a hole I've already done. On the highest torque setting, this is a 65mm long 14 gauge batten screw. Not a hope in hell. So those sort of screws going to have to be done with just on your drill setting. Oh. Yeah, that's a bit disappointing. See if I can get that back out. And this screw is 50mm long, going into just soft pine. Highest setting, can't get in. On the drill setting, it does these small screws fine, but it's not going to do it on your screwing setting, your fastening setting there. Okay, so all that was done on the second gear. Let's now crank it down to the first gear and see if it's got more torque. Pre-screwed hole, drilled hole on the driving setting 21. Not really doing a lot. Crank it on to drill setting. And there you go, she can do it. Can't you get it back out? Yes, now I don't normally pre-drill for these, I just chuck them in. So let's see, on the drill setting, low gear, can she do it? So that there and the drilling in the wood earlier is a good example of the lower setting having more torque. So on the low gear setting, we'll try again, driving on 21, see how she goes. Makes it alright. Let's crank it down to 18. Let's go to 15. Don't think I'll do it there, but no. So the low gear, the high gear on the fastening mode doesn't make a lot of difference, but if you're trying to drive those bigger screws on the drilling mode, pays to have it in the low gear. Okay, one final test just to really see how she can do it. We've got a fully charged 4 amp hour battery here. Got it on low gear, drilling mode. 125 mil 14 gauge batten screw. No pre-drilled hole. Let's go. Did it. Good girl. I'm going to try that again with a 1.5 amp hour battery. Fully charged 1.5 amp hour battery, just come off the charger. One I was using earlier. Same test. And she did it. Right, can it take them out? Right, let's wrap this up. The ToolPRO Hammer Drill. I'm pretty impressed. I really am. I'm going to put this up against some other tools later on, but bearing in mind this is a DIY home handyman type tool, it's not meant to be competing with the big boys such as Makita, Dewalt, Bosch, etc. But I think it's up to a challenge. It is only 1500 RPM, and for a 1500 RPM drill it's done extremely well. I've been very surprised how well it did with the drilling and the screwing once got the hang of it. Yeah, not much more to say. The chuck has, I can't test the run out because I haven't got a dial indicator that's working at the moment, but it seems pretty solid for a hammer drill. I mean, hammer drills aren't the most accurate things in the world, even the good branded ones. So it seems pretty straight and true, and yeah, I'm happy with it. I'll keep using it for a few weeks and we'll maybe do an update on all these ToolPRO tools in the future, see how they're coming along, see if they're standing the test of time. But at the moment, after first impressions, I think she's a goer. So yeah, 3 out of 3 so far, ToolPRO, well done. Cheers guys, I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully it will be an impact driver or impact wrench, or both. Thanks for watching. Check out these other videos on the side there. Subscribe, like, blah 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 blah. See you on the next one. It's nice and light too. Feels good in the hand.